Now, the new leader of the Central African Republic has ordered troops to shoot on sight at the first sign of any further fighting. Alexandre Ferdinand Nguendet took over as interim president at the weekend after his predecessor fled the country. He's renewed a curfew and declared that pillaging, revenge attacks and looting are over. But after weeks of violence, the bitterness and terror runs deep, as our chief correspondent Alex Thompson reports from the capital, Bangui.
The empty road into the Bulata district. Our Muslim guides said no outsiders have come in here for more than 3 weeks. Even they soon got out and said they'd see us when we returned. Bulata is a silent world. The Christian population fled weeks ago to the airport refugee camp.
Large areas of the capital, Bangui, and large areas of the country outside, you have to say, are now completely deserted. When you go into these places, and this is the first time we've been able to come into this zone with reasonable security, you find complete districts utterly destroyed. The silence is almost complete. The level of destruction here, absolute.
Yesterday, around 9 a.m, the Muslim mob returned and burned the evangelist church here to the ground. The bell lies in the ashes, stumps of wooden candlesticks. And in the rubble of the houses, the sense of how quickly people fled in the horror of it all. At great risk, 1 or 2 Christians sneak back in by daylight to salvage what they can. I said, you've come here, but the whole place is completely smashed up, so why come back? He said, the big problem is the Muslim families have all the weapons. They've got grenades, rockets and Kalashnikovs. We just had to get out. They came here house to house, he said, and burned everything. Nobody can speak openly in this silent place of terror. And these are the militias the Christians hold responsible for that terror, the Seleka. Confined to barracks, in theory, they said they had more than 2,000 men in this city centre barracks. We saw little evidence of that. But the president they brought to power in a coup has gone, and Seleka, on the back foot, are now talking peace and reconciliation.
We regret everything that's happened, and from today, we want to rebuild our country. The only message from us is for people to come home in peace and tranquility.
They showed us their arms. This is it, they claimed. We rely on the French peacekeepers to protect us now. Well, they're not alone in that. Mosques still being destroyed and damaged across this city as Christian groups fight back. Backing them all the way, their militia, the anti-Balaka. Theoretically Christian, but actually all daggers, machetes and juju fetishes, which Colonel Dieudonné Oronti was in no mood to explain. That's a secret. I can't explain that, or the enemy will copy it if I tell you. They could create medicine to counter our power, so I can't explain it. If juju's off limits for the colonel, his views on Muslims certainly aren't. Just seeing them makes me angry. I'd prefer if they were repatriated, that would be better. It's not their country. Central Africa is for Central Africans, not Muslims. They're Sudanese and Chadians. Pro-Christian militia, pro-Muslim militia, but as ever, it is the innocents most brutally damaged by both sides. Remember little Jacques? Back in December, we came upon him, malnourished and desperately ill, in the airport refugee camp. We notified UNICEF and he was taken to hospital that day. A few days ago, we were notified that after treatment, he was back in the camp with his father in the disused aircraft hangar. We went back there and came upon a very different Jacques. His father said Jacques had problems with mobility, but the doctors expect him to be walking again soon. Jacques' doing well. When I leave him here alone, he starts playing. Before, when he was here on the floor, he couldn't even hold himself up. I had to. Now he can do it by himself, so he's fine. It is one story, one tiny glimmer of hope, perhaps. But as the city centre returns to some semblance of normality today, there is a ceasefire of sorts, and it does appear to be holding for now. Alex Thompson, Channel 4 News, Bangui, in the Central African Republic.